Welcome to Ask Hyojin. I'm Hyojin and I'm here with
현우, 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
Let's go.
Ask Hyojin. 오빠.
네.
I got a question from our listener about going back to the hometown for Chuseok and seollal, our holidays.
Don't talk about it. It gives me a headache. Oh, it's
Why?
crazy. So as you know, Chuseok just happened in Korea.
Yes.
And it was fun times. But for me, going back to my parents' house on Chuseok or seollal, just thinking about doing that gives me a headache. So please,
Why?
I don't want to go into details. You just talk.
Well, I don't have a problem with this, so I'm gonna explain
Okay.
it to our listeners.
Okay, so this is big, right?
It is big. You know, there are two major holidays in Korea.
Yeah.
Which are?
Seollal and Chuseok. Seollal is of course the Lunar New Year holiday, and Chuseok is like the Korean Thanksgiving.
Yes. And of course, it's a holiday.
Yeah.
Everyone loves holidays.
They don't work, right?
We don't work. But the reason that Hyunwoo gets headache just thinking about going back to his parents' house is that there are so many people who are going back to their hometown.
Yeah.
So which causes heavy traffic.
Exactly. So how many people are living in Korea?
Around 50 million?
50 million people.
Less than 50 million.
Yeah, around 50 million people are living in Korea. And during the Chuseok holidays and Seollal holidays, which are really important, equally important, how many people actually either drive or take some other types of transportation to go to another city?
30 million people. 30 million people. More than half of our whole population.
Nation. Exactly. So 30 million people on the road. That happens, I don't know, within the period of maybe 3 days, 4 days?
Usually we get 3-day holiday,
Exactly.
including the Chuseok or seollal day itself. If the holiday is short, like only 3 days, a little less people go to see their parents. And if the holiday is longer, for example, 5 days, including the weekend, a little more people go see their parents. But usually 30 million people.
30 million people. That's crazy. I didn't think that many people were traveling. So because of the fact that so many people are traveling, like jam-packed inside this little country that we're living in, it causes a lot of traffic. Even though it causes that much traffic, people still go because it's an important holiday. So let's talk about a few things about going back home on Chuseok. So,
오빠,
네.
your hometown is Gwangju.
Gwangju.
And your parents are still living there.
Exactly.
So that's why you are going there, you're visiting your parents.
Yes, that's the only reason. Well, one of the two reasons. One is that my parents are living there, of course, including my grandmother. And another reason is that all my relatives are living there as well. But my relatives are not as important as my parents. So if my parents were living in Seoul right now, I wouldn't have to go anywhere during Chuseok.
Okay, but some people, because I have friends who are living with their parents, but their parents, their grandparents are living in another city or another province, they still go to see their grandparents.
Exactly. I used to think when I was younger, much younger, used to think, oh, this is such a headache. Why do we have to do this all at the same time? Can I just go visit my parents 1 week before that or 1 week after that? I was thinking that would be a more logical way to approach it. But for some reason, people get this pressure. Like if you visit 1 week before the actual Chuseok day, the people around your parents will all be receiving their children. Hey, welcome, welcoming their children. But then there will be like, okay, my children are not here. They were here before, but
they will feel lonely.
Yeah. So eventually you have to go on that day.
Yes. And like you said, since your parents are living in Gwangju, you go there. But for some people, they visit their grandparents. But for some other people, if they don't have anyone in their hometown, my dad, everyone, like all the family, my family is living in Seoul, so we don't go anywhere.
I see. Yeah, that's very convenient for you, right? So since Seoul is kind of like empty during these periods, twice a year, so it must be really fun for people who are living in Seoul.
When I was younger, I didn't like it because I felt lonely. My friends are gone, so I had to play by myself.
Yeah.
But now it's really convenient.
Yeah. So how do we travel? How do people travel? Let's talk about that.
Well, there are 4 major ways to travel. I mean, there are four only ways,
Yeah,
I
I
guess.
think so.
First of all, of course, airplane.
Airplane, and then
the most convenient way.
and the most expensive way, of course.
Okay, and bus.
Bus, and then
train,
or you can drive, right? So these are all like possible options. But I think most people travel by bus actually.
By bus.
Yeah, because there are more buses than trains or airplanes. So and buses are the cheapest. So a lot of people go back to their hometowns because they're supposed to by buses. But the thing is, it's really, really not difficult, but it's hard to be sitting on the bus for many hours, right?
Many hours.
So do you know how many hours it takes for someone to go from Seoul to Busan by bus?
Usually it takes around 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours.
But during the 명절, Chuseok or 설날 holidays, it takes as many hours as up to around 10, 11, 12, who knows?
It's just crazy. So for me, I think the average normal duration is 3 hours and a half. 3 hours and a half.
Okay, Seoul to Gwangju. Okay.
So about 3 hours. But during holiday season, I can expect it to take about 7 hours. So
7 hours?
Yes. If it takes any shorter than 7 hours, I am extremely happy. Like, only took 7 hours. So it can take up to 8 hours. I wouldn't be too surprised. But once in one winter, it was so crazy. It took me 17 hours.
17 hours?
Yes, for me to go from Seoul to
I
Gwangju.
can go to, I don't know, New York by airplane for 17 hours.
Exactly. I can actually go to any part of the world if I have 17 hours. So yeah, it was crazy. It was due to the heavy snowfall and also due to the fact that there were so many people traveling at the same time. So when I looked at the watch, I had already spent 2 hours on the bus and I was still near Seoul. And when I was about in the Daejeon area, I had already spent 8 hours, which usually takes about an hour and a half. By the time I arrived there, my cell phone already off and there was no way for me to reach my parents. And then my parents really thought he disappeared or he went to some other thing, some other more exciting thing than his parents' house. So yeah, my father didn't believe me at first.
17 hours.
17 hours.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
How about last year? How did you travel last year?
Last 설날, I'm not sure. I think we were lucky to get some plane tickets. So on our way to our parents' house, we flew, so it took only about an hour or 30 minutes. And on our way back to Seoul, I think we got bus tickets. So yeah, we spent about 7 hours on the bus.
So I guess airplane, the most convenient but most expensive. Train, it won't take so much because
it's the same
has a
time.
schedule.
It runs on tracks. So trains can't get in traffic jams, so it's really convenient. But
what's the problem with train?
Tickets are really hard to get because it's really competitive, and
How competitive are we talking about?
Okay, so since there are only a set number of tickets available for those 3, 4, 5 days, a lot of people want to get train tickets. I think the first option they want is train tickets, of course. And when I got tickets for this year's Chuseok, don't be surprised. You have to go online on a particular day at a particular time.
Usually it's about a month or 3 weeks ahead of the actual holiday.
Exactly. And I was supposed to go online at 6 a.m.
6 a.m.?
Yeah, 6 a.m. on this website, and I was supposed to wait, be already logged in so that I can click on the reservation button, 예약 button. So I did, but I wasn't paying attention to the clock really closely. So when I turned to check the time, it was 6 o'clock sharp, but 3 seconds late, right? So 6:03, not even 6:03. It was 6:00:03. Okay, 3 seconds after 6 o'clock. So I pressed that button, and that screen popped up telling me how many people are waiting in front of me. Okay, and then I would have to wait for these people to be done with their reservation, and then it would be my turn. So the number astonished me, which was 150,000 people were waiting in front of me within 3 seconds.
Oh my god!
So you know how you can also open another tab on our internet browser. So I did, and since this browser tab also got another number, right? This one, which I pressed, which I opened 3 seconds later, this one said 200,000 people were waiting.
Crazy. So 200,000 people woke up 6
seconds.
a.m., 6 in the morning,
Yeah.
before 6 in the morning.
Yes.
And then they were waiting in front of their computer just to get the ticket.
Yeah. After that, I think it
Wow.
easily went to like 300,000, 400,000 for those who, kind of slept in by mistake. And I was lucky to get the tickets because
Wow.
the numbers actually decreased quite fast.
Okay.
And I was able to check in real time how many tickets were like roughly left. So it's crazy.
So you're the lucky
Yeah,
few.
I think I was lucky, one of the lucky 100,000 people, maybe.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yes.
So I understand why, going back to your hometown gives you the headache.
Yeah, of course. I mean, going back is the problem. I mean, being back there and having some quality time with my parents is a wonderful thing. And I always enjoy doing that besides these traditional holidays.
Well, to be honest, you're a guy.
Yeah.
So you have nothing to do when you go back home. Like you just, sit around
That's
and,
true, that's true.
eat food, a lot of food.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you go back to your parents' place?
I think I just eat.
Okay.
and sleep, be a good son, just show my face. That's it.
That's it.
That's
Oh
all
my
that's expected
God.
of me.
Well, usually for Chuseok and seollal, we do this ceremony, right?
Yeah,
In the
yeah, yeah.
morning. We do the ceremony to commemorate our ancestors
yeah,
and,
to pay respect. We have
Pay
this
some
little
respect.
ceremony. Like we have
ritual kind of thing.
depending on the households, I think there can be anywhere from 20 different dishes up to 40 different dishes on the table, like on the morning, in the morning of the holiday. Yeah, so we do that, and a lot of houses have only women prepare the dishes, right?
Usually.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard it's changing, but I don't think it's changing fast enough.
I try to help
But
by carrying some dishes to the table.
okay, that's not helping. That's not really helping. Well, I can't really, say bad things about you because I don't really do anything because I am not married. So usually my mom goes to my uncle's house. So she prepares everything with my aunts. That's pretty much like my uncles don't do anything usually, and my aunts and my mom prepare everything, all these foods that guys will eat, and we're gonna eat too. But
Yeah, so in most cases, I think it's women only who cook, and cooking during these traditional holidays is the hardest work that they have to do, and of course cleaning up after that as well. And I think still, like for me, not because I'm a guy, since I'm going to my own parents' house, and also like I usually go back with my younger sister as well, who is living in Seoul. So for her too, it's the same thing. Just go back home and just relax.
of course, it's different from household to household. Some of my friends, even though they are not married, they have to cook and stuff. But usually, married women have more like pressure to do stuff.
Exactly. So the way that it works is married women, they have to follow their husband to go to the husband's parents' house, not like separately. So for example, if you're a woman and you're married to a Korean guy, if your parents' house is in this city and your husband's parents' house is in another city and they're far apart, you probably can't go to your own parents' house during that holiday period. Maybe you might be able to visit the next week.
Or the week before.
Yeah, the week before. But you don't have enough time to visit those two places because you get to spend the majority of your holiday period in that city, right?
Yes.
So I think I don't particularly look forward to going back home on traditional holidays because of the traffic factor. But I think a lot of married women, they also don't look forward to going back to those other places because of the work
Heavy
they have to
workload,
do
yeah.
and the pressure. Korean houses don't really have spare bedrooms. My wife and I don't really get a spare bedroom or anything. We might use my sister's room or maybe use the living room to sleep. So it's not exactly the most convenient or comfortable place to stay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for that reason, I think a lot of people are more and more people are actually simplifying the ceremony by either going on a family trip altogether overseas or, not visiting at all, things like that.
And of course, people like me, because I live in Seoul.
People like you or?
People like me, of course. I mean, people who has the same situation as mine. Because I live in Seoul, my parents are living in Seoul.
Were they born in Seoul too?
No.
But they're living in Seoul?
Yes.
So you don't have to go somewhere else to visit your parents,
No.
right?
And neither will my children. And there will be more and more people like me, who don't have to travel to another city because they all all live in the same city, their family, their parents, their grandparents. So, well, I'm not sure if like in 100 years or 200 years, if this thing, the whole thing going back to their hometown thing will last.
Yeah, I think the traditions itself, themselves will also be kind of simplified, but at the same time, the act of going back to these faraway hometowns to meet their parents will slowly disappear, I think, because I am from another city. Hyojin is not. My children will be from the same city that I'm living, unless I retire and decide to go back to another place, but I think I'll live in Seoul. Yeah, so because of that, it's just becoming less and less so, but still, I
don't see it's happening anytime soon, though.
Yeah. It takes about, I don't know, a generation's time so for that to happen. So that's what happens if you ever visit Seoul during maybe the Chuseok period, which can be different every year, during on the 15th of August in the lunar calendar. So downtown Seoul might be just empty, and if you ever wonder why that's happening.
A lot of restaurants are actually closed.
Yes, because they have to go back to their own hometowns as well.
Yes. Hyun 오빠,
네.
but did you at least have some good time with your family?
Yes, I think I did. So I'm not saying it's not worth going back to your parents' places, but I think it's just some pain that a lot of people, most Korean people, have to go through twice each year. So just for you to understand a little bit of what's going on here. I think I've heard that it's worse in China.
In China, yeah.
Is bigger.
Good luck if you're Chinese. 그러면 저희 다음에 더 재밌는 주제로 찾아뵙겠습니다.
네, we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye. 안녕. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed our video. Did you guys hear that the Talk to Me in Korean workbook for level 1 came out? Ta-da! This is what it looks like. If you finished studying Talk to Me in Korean level 1 and want to reinforce what you learned, you can click the link to go to mykoreanstore.com to order a copy. And please look forward to the release of the level 2 workbook as well. Bye!